Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video. I am working still on photos from New York in September, and I'm on this layout, which is a little bit different. So it looks like a 3x8, but it's actually a flip out. So I have to embellish the inside with something, and then I have to do something here. And part of my challenge is I don't know what to do with this. I don't feel like I need all of this for journaling because I've journaled on some other layouts both before this and a couple after that are already done. So I'm a little stumped. Maybe I'll end up going like half and half. I can do some type of ephemera piece or embellishment or something on part of it, journal the other part, or find a really, really large and narrow embellishment of some type and not journal at all. I don't know. For the inside, because I've got a lot of dead space down here and there's this big person, there was no real way to get that out of there before I printed. But because that person is there, I thought maybe I can do a cluster of some kind in this lower left-hand corner, and then the eye would go there and you'd see all of this and kind of ignore what's here because this is the main attraction here. So those are the things I have to consider to figure out what to do with this. I'm hoping it doesn't frustrate me beyond belief, because sometimes when I have too much open space, it's almost like analysis paralysis. I can't decide because there's so much I could do with it, and then it ends up taking me longer. So I guess I'll just get started and we'll see what happens. So I've taken out this left side since I'm going to work in this corner, and as you can see, there are stars there in the ceiling of this thing where they had the light show kind of going through this tunnel. So I definitely could use some star embellishments, either here, on here somewhere, maybe both, I don't know. But at least it gives me kind of a design motif that I can work with. And then other than that, I just really need to think about color. Here it's black and white, I can do whatever I want. Inside here, I think I want to stick to some of these colors and maybe this very, very light yellow / cream color, because this is so dark. Having at least one thing in that really light color would really help lighten this up, I think. So I'm gonna look for those things. As I was thinking through the color decision, when I was talking about what I see here, I remembered that in these phrases, these are all my fall and Halloween phrases, in there somewhere there's one that says light the night, and I think it's yellow. I have a fear that it might be a little too dark, but I'm hoping it's lighter than I remember. But I'm going to dump these out and see if I can find that. All right, so I found it. It is darker than what I thought. I thought it was a lighter yellow. It's very kind of yellowy gold. Like I thought maybe it was going to be more like this. Those definitely are not the same. Now, could I make one? Absolutely, I could. I could go into the Project Life app. I could find the yellow that I want, type it, and print it out. And I may do that. But this is what it would look like here. It's not horrible. It's not really that far off. And if I mix it with maybe some of this lighter blue or turquoise here, maybe that would be okay. So for now, I'm going to keep it. Obviously, I'll have to trim it down because both ends are almost, well, they are the full 3x8. So, or sorry, 3 inches across. So I'd have to cut that down, which is fine. But I'm just wondering, like, is there something else, like in this color, not necessarily even a phrase, but just a piece of ephemera or something that might work out? And actually, this is maybe a little more teal than I thought. That's more aqua. Look at this. Let me grab this color. See, those are not the same. Yes, definitely more this. Aqua or turquoise. That's what we're going for. So I'll have to keep that in mind when I look through my ephemera, which I actually have some right here. And again, these are all fall or Halloween based. So I can look through there too and just see, is there anything in this color that would work? So far I have found 3 things, and really 2 out of the 3 are not going to work, but I'll show you what I found. So these 2, oops, there's another tag underneath it. I don't want that one. So love the color, but it's way too big. Doesn't work. And the boo doesn't really go. I love this one. Now, this is a better size if I were going to do it up top, and I could switch and maybe do that. But I don't like that it says beware. That doesn't really go with what we're doing here. This one, however, just says Halloween party. I feel like that's appropriate. It kind of was a Halloween party. We're just walking around looking at pumpkins and fun decorations and things. So I'm wondering if maybe I can sort of layer those in some way that they would be functional. I could do this and then maybe find a star in maybe this orangey red here or something, dark orange, and put that on there. Maybe that would be enough. There's also a slight lavender or purple tint to some of this. Maybe that would be okay. I know I have those options. I have lots of puffy stickers that are in those colors, so I'm sure I could find that. So it's just a matter of which one do I like better, how will it actually look when I see it on here. So I want to show some options that I have for the puffy stickers that I'm considering doing here. So I was looking at kind of the turquoise and then a purple, either lighter or darker, depending on what I have, and then also like a darker orange. So first up is these. So you can see I do have some purple options. I actually really like the option of maybe doing like a stripe in there. I have several of those that are available that I haven't used yet, so that could be fun. Now I do also have the darker stars, which is fine, but I'm really digging the possibility of the stripe, the white with the purple stripe. And then here I have some other options. Really, I'm looking at these are sort of too teal. They're not aqua, so these were mostly for those purple options that I have there. And then here for the orange. Now, these are kind of big, but if I overlap that, I think it might be okay and it'll draw more attention to the star motif. So we'll see, but that's what I have so far. And then I also have, it's similar to this set, but see how these are more teal? It's similar to this, but it's more aqua. I have stars in that as well. Even like this is a little bit closer to it, but I don't know that I want to use that if I already have this ticket. I want kind of a third separate color. That's why I was thinking the orange or the purple, but you never know. Once I start laying it all out, maybe I'll decide I want both colors. Who knows? All right, I might be switching things up a little bit. When I was layering stuff down here, it felt weird that there was this blank space up here. So now I'm thinking maybe I'll do this up top, either centered or off to the left. I already cut off the one side to shorten it, but I could cut off this side as well. We'll see. But then for the bottom, I thought, well, what else could I do with this, with those stars, especially if I choose to use more than one? So I pulled out just my circle pieces of ephemera, and I thought maybe I could layer it and then add the stars to this, like just various around there, and then that brings in some of this color. So this doesn't look quite so in your face when it's up at the top all by itself. So I think that's the direction I'm going, and then I will just mix and match what I find in here. This is what I decided to go with down here, and I dig that. Then when I was looking at this, if I could pick it up, that'd be great. There we go. I thought maybe I do need one more star up there, and then I have 3 of those. I like the odd numbers, aesthetically pleasing, and I thought maybe I can get away with using one of these lighter ones, because look at this. These are lighter than I thought. That's a pretty perfect match. So if I put this up here and then just have one star kind of hanging off the top or bottom or whatever, that might actually work. I decided to put this towards the right-hand side instead of centered or left-hand side, because this is already more left. So to balance it out, I went more right on this one, and then I just used one of those stars right here. There's a little gap there. I figured that would work just fine, and then it's just below the top edge, which I like. So this is done, and now I can put this in here. Let's see how it looks in here. I just realized something. I didn't think that through. This needs to be over here. Shoot. Well, I'm going to have to hope that I can pry that off and move it over. It looks weird having this all on the left side and nothing here. All right, luckily I was able to pry that up and move it over. That looks much better, having This on the left, this on the right. They're separated. Whew. Glad I figured that out, or I would have been stuck with something I really didn't like. So good for that. Now I have to figure out this part. For this side, I've decided I'm just going to layer a bunch of ephemera pieces because I looked at what I have before and after. I do have enough journaling. I don't feel like I need to do that here. I can just do something fun that's visual. So a way to fill up space, I thought, was look at all the bigger tags that I have. Like this one I know I don't want because it says 31. I don't want that. Probably not that one because it says Halloween. This could be interesting with those colors. They're non-traditional. I want candy. Same with this one. I have lots of candy embellishments actually. Between these two sticker sheets, there are candy things on here that I won't use. My kids are old, like they don't trick or treat anymore. So maybe I could use that and then work in some pink, something a little different. But then I also have these. This one I had considered for the inside of this. And then I have this one, which certainly goes with the event type because it was all based on what can you build with pumpkins. So I have options here and I'm just going to play around and hopefully come up with something fun. I have decided to embrace the pink. I am going to use this. I will layer something else, I'm not sure exactly what. And then I want to use this to cover up the date. I don't need to have that. I have that in like 3 other places already. But I don't like that this goes fully end to end. So I am going to trim down the pink area a little bit and actually get the pennant ends in there. And then I think I will like that better. So I cut that down and I like that so much better. I'm going to layer it just like that. And then on top of that, I'm going to use some of the candy pieces that I have on those sticker sheets. So now that I have that figured out, I can really start layering. I grabbed up my rhinestones and at first I thought I wanted one of these colored ones in there, but now I think I'm going to go black. It helps bring in more of this, the subtle lines that are around here, the stripe down here. I just think it's a bolder statement and I like that. So I'm going to use that one and I just need to fill in kind of the rest. Maybe one little piece of candy or something up here and then maybe it's done. I decided to do another blue one up here because I had that available and then it kind of ties these together with the blue there. And I think that's all it needs. But I'm going to put it in here and see what I think. And once it's in there, you open it up and you see that. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think it needs anything else. Yay, here's another one finished for New York. Thanks for watching.